Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's season 11, episode 6, and today we're back in European action as promised, as we play Real Madrid in the first knockout round of the Champions League. We're visiting the Bernabeu today as things are looking pretty good domestically, despite a defeat to Tottenham away in the Premier League at the weekend. We rested a few for this game, so we knew it was a risk, but we're still pretty confident of securing the title. The good thing is the other games we suggested we may show as a double-header today have been rearranged due to our FA Cup progress, so we'll be able to show the game against Manchester City next time out, which will start our run into the Premier League season. We've got a couple of big episodes coming up as we look to try and wrap up the title. We're obviously still going well in the Champions League. If we can get through today, we'll have the latter stages of that, and we're into the FA Cup quarter final now as well, so that's going to be something worth showing if we get to the semis and final. But if we go and start on the schedule to see what's been happening since you were last with me, we can talk about some January transfer news in a moment too, but you were obviously with me for that Carabao Cup semi-final defeat, a really disappointing loss on penalties. Our best two penalty takers missed in the shootout, which ended up costing us the tie. We followed that up though with a comfortable win in the fourth round of the FA Cup, Bernard Martin with a brace away at Championship Hull, before a 2-2 draw away to Everton in the league. They really dominated that game. It's the worst we played in a Premier League game in ages, and unfortunately they got a late equaliser, though it was justly deserved. However, we did win 3-1 at home to Wolves in the following game, a really comfortable victory this time, although it was just a 1-goal lead for most of the game until Florentin Bernard competed a brace in stoppage time. A 2-2 draw followed away to Southampton as our dodgy run defensively continued, although that had been resolved after this game until the Tottenham one last time out. Bernard and Ranzan the familiar goal scorers as we got a draw away at St Mary's, then a 3-1 win in the FA Cup at Crystal Palace, felled off with a goal in stoppage time to make it secure after Lavinas and Greenwood had scored first half goals. Our backup team was out again in that one, so we expected a closer game than normal. And then the result that affects today's episode greatly, a brilliant 3-0 win at home to Real Madrid. That was in the Champions League first knockout, first leg. Leonardo with a goal and then Lera with a second half brace, which will hopefully put us in pole position for qualification today. And then two back-to-back home wins followed in the Premier League, really comfortable performances. A 4-0 win against Burnley with 4 different scorers, including Bernard Martin, who'd been in for the injured Bernard, and then Stoke 3-0 at home as well. Lavinas getting a late goal off the bench after Lera and Ranzan had scored in the first half. We did lose 2-1 away to Tottenham. A few players have been rested in that one. One of the backup players, Douglas Luiz, came in and scored a penalty, but that man under put us to the sword again. A brilliant free kick with 5 minutes to go, and in the end Tottenham just snuck the 3 points with that. Without it we would have pretty much wrapped up the Premier League already. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium now holds nearly 80,000 people, and they're certainly prepared to be one of the best sides in English football, and they're our closest competitors this time around. But we go into today's game with some transfer news as well. You may have even recognised the name off the bench in that one. Because we mentioned we were a little bit short in the defensive areas, we had some problems in defensive midfield, some injury prone players as well. Of course our director of football went and did one thing. He spent £73 million, 57 of that up front, on an attacking midfielder in a position we had 2 strong players. Curtis Jones from Stoke City, £57 million in upfront fees. He's not even a youngster at 28 years of age, earning £100,000 a week. Not particularly good, just 3-star ability, 3-star potential. He's done okay for Stoke this season, but certainly hasn't been setting the world alight. In real life he's a youngster at Liverpool, but it's not the signing we were really looking for in January, and as a result we've now got Oliveira, him and Ranzan competing for one position in the first team, while we don't have any backup centre halves should we get an injury to one of our first 2 choices. We didn't have any more which is a little bit of good news, though there is one pre-agreed for the summer. Joseph Rabina, he was a youngster we bought in a few years ago for £2.5 million, and he's going to be going to Greece permanently, having done okay in the Bundesliga this year. So a pretty uneventful January transfer window, one awful signing by our director of football, but hopefully this will be our last season at Newcastle, and we can finish off in style in the Premier League, and then we'll be able to go to an elite club in Europe and really start to see the world-class players come in. But let's get into this second leg against Real Madrid. If we can get through against them, surely that will interest their owners, and maybe they'll consider employing us next season instead. Tottenham are playing against Leicester in the Premier League on the same night, so although our game might be crucial, this one's potentially even more important. Leicester bottom of the Premier League at the moment. We've got them in the FA Cup at the weekend, so although we'd like them to have a lower confidence, Tottenham losing's more important at the moment. I know I love the FA Cup so much, but I'd much rather win the Premier League on this occasion, just because it would accelerate our career, and it would be a disaster if we dropped our 6-point lead. It was 9 points before the weekend, we took a calculated gamble, and hopefully it won't come back to bite us on the backside after we've played against Real Madrid today. One of the reasons we have been leaking goals in the league is Islam Machilov, our first choice keeper. He's been out injured for 3 or 4 weeks now. I'm tempted to play him today, but I haven't got him in the lineup at the moment. One of our starting centre-halves, Mohamed Maflouthi, he's also suspended today. He's reached the yellow card limit for this competition, and we've got a few players unregistered too. So let's go and have a little look at the lineup. It's pretty much as you'd expect aside from that. I just don't know whether to bring Machilov back in, as Azovo's been doing a decent job in goal, but he's certainly not the same standard as Machilov. So I'm going to take the gamble and play the Russian keeper. Azovo can play in the FA Cup game at the weekend. Let's just see what our following league game is as well. That's against Ipswich after the international break. So Machilov in theory can get injured for another 3 weeks as long as he's back for our run-in April. I am going to put the sub-keeper on the bench for once though, just to make sure we don't get left a bit short. I don't really know who the best man to take off is. I'm not sure which one to go for here. I think we will take Curtis Jones off the bench as he is a new signing and it doesn't matter if he misses out on this occasion. So we've got Machilov in goal, albeit on one leg. Gomez and Lewis are the fullbacks with Rice covering in the middle alongside Yanderson. Gomez is in the segundo volante role with Leonardo in the playmaker position, and then Arzani, Ranzan and Lera are the 3-man creative force behind Florentin Bernard up front. He's just back from injury and isn't scoring at the moment, but fingers crossed he'll be able to change that today. So let's get into the game and see if we can get a result, though it'd be an absolute disaster if we threw it away from here. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Real Madrid. They're really going for it today. Leon Bailey, the Bayer Leverkusen youngsters, playing on the right wing. He's highlighted as their star player. They've got Pavard and De Ligt, 2 of the best young centre-halves in world football. They're playing at the heart of Real Madrid's defence today. And then they've got their young right-back from real life and Marco Asensio, both in the first 11 for this game. Let's go and talk to the lads and tell them to prove a point. We just want to make sure they get through. As a result for our tactics today, we're going to drop to our usual away Europeans mentality. We're going to go for a cautious one. We're going to be able to time waste as well. We're bringing out the Jose Mourinho style today. A lower tempo, frequently time wasting, holding our shape and slowing the pace down. Although in fact we are still going to counter attack if we win the ball in defensive areas. We're not going to stop the goalkeeper distributing it short. We don't want to press them at all when they're in their half of the pitch. We're just dealing with the ball when it comes into our half. Otherwise they can keep it at the back as long as they want. Let's get into the first half then and see if we can get a result. Fingers crossed we'll be able to hold them off. A 2-0 defeat's fantastic, and if we get an away goal, Real Madrid need 5, so that would be the main aim for the start of this game, although it's going to be difficult with the way we've set up. It's the Real Madrid goalkeeper with a long ball forward, and he's headed down by Bailey on the right. He finds Zambrano coming across halfway up to the striker. They've got plenty of men up in support. They're really going for it early on, and the cross is deflected away, though it's back in by the left back. It's fallen for the right back on the edge of the box, in towards Zambrano again, but we've managed to hack it away long, though it looks like we're going to be under pressure all game. Zambrano in the middle out to the right hand side, and Bailey still coming forward. It's a very long first highlight of the match, which normally means it leads to a goal, and I'm a little bit concerned because there's only one end it's coming from. Esteban on the edge shoots, and with a minute gone, Real Madrid have had the perfect start, and this could well be Liverpool v Barcelona all over again. A disastrous start, and with 4 minutes gone, it's 1-0 to Madrid. We've got the ball on the left though with Jamal Lewis. A poor throw in, but it's come straight back to him. Leonardo finds Gomez. Out to Joe Gomez on the right hand side. We always make that mistake with the confusion, and Arzani's got the ball now on the right. Back to Joe Gomez via a deflection. He finds Ranzan. A goal would change our mood, and it's just wide of the post from 25 yards. Real Madrid survive at 1-0. They're back on the right hand side with Bailey. Here comes Zambrano. Just 6 minutes gone, and they look like they could get a second. Odriozola crosses it in. Tucson, the striker, hits the post, and it bounces back out to Machilov, who's really happy to grasp that one to his chest. Asensio delivers to Rodrigo. Tucson puts it in, and this has become an absolute disaster. A world-class Real Madrid side, and they're really absolutely wiping the floor with us. It looks like we've gone defensive too soon. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to change it back to normal because we're getting completely overrun. This tactic that we're trying today, you may say at the start, why are we changing it? We do it so often in the group games and it works brilliantly, but unfortunately today it's just cost us. Normally it works down to a T, and I don't know why it quite hasn't today. Maybe it's just the nerves, and we would have been 2 down on anyway, and the fact we've got a backup centre-half in, who's probably only now Championship standards, doesn't really help us on this occasion. Here's Lera on the left-hand side though. A goal for us can change everything. Arzani gets the ball in the middle back to Claudio Gomez. He goes wide to Joe Gomez. He's got a man down the line but instead cuts inside, and Arzani finds the playmaker Leonardo. He gets it into Bernard, puts it in the corner. Let's cancel those tactical changes as we've managed to get the goal. What a flying start to the game for the neutral, and now Real Madrid need 3 more just to manage to get through to the last day. A brilliant goal by Florentin Bernard, and it's now 2-1 on the night, 4-2 on aggregate. The advantage of the away goal is everything, but I wouldn't rule out Real Madrid scoring 5, particularly with the way this game started. Esteban's got it in the middle to Bailey. He's charging forward, there's no pressure at all. He puts it over the bar, and we are just going to edge up to a balanced mentality, as it seems like we're getting caught a little bit too defensively. We're just giving them space to run into. We don't want to do that all day. We've got a youth intake tomorrow. We want to go into that with a high, as Arana puts the ball into the centre forward. An easier save for Machilov this time, and with 15 minutes gone, we're hanging on for 2-1, but I'd really quite like a second goal just to make things a bit more comfortable. Here's Declan Rice at the back though. He finds Jamal Lewis. We don't want to give the ball away back there. We have lowered the tempo slightly, and maybe that's our biggest flaw today. Playing at a different speed to what we normally do could often give the players a bit of confusion. Here comes Arzani over halfway though. He finds Florentin Bernard, and inside to Ranzan, who's got time on the ball. Finds Lera cutting in from the left. Surely there's a foul on Ranzan at the edge there, but the referee's played advantage, and Leonardo shoots from the edge. Now Claudio Gomez is off the post. Florentin Bernard puts the rebound in, but unfortunately it's disallowed for offside, and we have to make 2 with a 2-1 deficit still. 20 minutes gone, and we're starting to attack a bit more now. We're really getting back into this game on the night. The goal seems to have given the lads a lift, really shown them they can compete, and maybe they've remembered that 3 weeks ago they absolutely dominated the game and are able to do the same now. It's Claudio Gomez out to Joe Gomez. He gets it inside to Leonardo, and now we're back inside with Bernard. He's got the ball 25 yards out, goes for a cracking effort from there, but it was a little bit ambitious and easily blocked, and it's away for a Real Madrid attack now. Here's Arana, the left back, into Bailey at the back post, but it's an easy header for Machilov to save, and with a quarter of the game gone it remains 2-1. Asensio with a free kick which is blocked. It's hacked away by Joe Gomez, but we seem to be hanging on for dear life in every attack now, and Real Madrid are really putting pressure on us. Asensio on the edge delivers to Bailey. Brilliant save by Machilov the first time, but he was out of position to start with, and now we've got it back to 3-1 on the night, and Real Madrid just need 2 more. We're going to up the tempo and go back to normal, as it does look like we're starting to get overrun, and it just hasn't worked on the night, and maybe I've got to trust the lads as well, as we did dominate them 3 weeks ago. Leonardo on the edge to Gomez. He finds Arzani on the edge of the box. Inside to Ranzan. Brilliant goal again, and they just don't want us to change the tactic. It's 3-2 on the night with less than half an hour gone, and now we can go back to our defensive formation, as it seems to be working on the counter-attack. We've been really clinical with our chances. We've just got to give Real Madrid a few less. Half an hour gone. It's 3-2 on the night, 5-3 to Newcastle on aggregate, and Real Madrid now need 6 to get through. It's Ranzan with a free kick. It's an action-packed game. What a wonderful game for the neutral. Leonardo's got the ball on halfway. He finds Yanderson, and now Leonardo. We have kept our tempo slightly higher, and you can see we're moving the ball around a little bit more quickly now, although Joe Gomez is forced all the way back to Machilov. He clears long. There's no respite at the moment, but Leonardo finds Bernard. He's given the ball away with a poor touch, and here come Real Madrid again on the counter-attack. The centre-forward's been deadly all game, into Esteban, who puts it wide, and with just over half an hour gone, it's still 3-2 on the night, but Real Madrid continue to create chances. Just a minute to the break and we're back with De Ligt in his own box. He goes back to the Real Madrid keeper who clears long. Toussaint brings it down and there's no pressure on him at all, and he gets it out to the left back Arana. Good target man play there by the centre forward, and this Real Madrid side certainly looks a good one. Maybe it'd be great if we could manage them next season. Toussaint's in and it's a brilliant save from Machilov, tipping it wide down to his left hand side. He's been a really good goalkeeper for us in the last year or so, particularly since David Raya left, and although they've got another chance on the edge here, Machilov has been the right decision to play today. He's let in 3 but made countless good saves, and now we've got a counter-attack with Florentin Bernard. Out to Lera on the left-hand side, tries to deliver but it lacks composure, and it's away for Real Madrid who come straight forward. A brilliant end-to-end game. I can't remember the last time I've seen anything like this. I think in Season 3 we had a crazy playoff game. It might have been Slough v Dartford, and it was like 6-3 at half-time or something. This game's been just like that. It's only 3-2 on this occasion, and it's all well and good for us, as we still lead 5-3 on aggregate. Real Madrid need 3 more. We've really got to think about our tactic for the second half, but fingers crossed we can nick another goal or 2 and put this tie completely out of sight. Joe Gomez has had a shocker at right back. Lera's not had the best game on the left, but Lera was one of the worst in the first half of the first leg, but he managed to come back in the second with a brace. Let's get into the second half and see if we can hold on in this tie, although a defeat on the night will further dent our confidence, which could lead to problems at the weekend in the FA Cup. Hopefully Tottenham are losing on the night too. I'm sure the Newcastle fans in the stadium will be checking on their phones. Jamal Lewis has picked up a yellow which we'll have to watch, but as it stands we're still going through comfortably, as with an hour gone it's 3-2 to Madrid. Just a quarter of the game to go. It's been a very quiet second half, a subdued atmosphere, although Rodrigo was nearly in there. The ball just went over his head as he tried to get on the end of it. Gomez heads away and now Leonardo flicks it on, though Lera can't do much with it and Madrid are coming forward again. Esteban to Arana who puts it wide, a really speculative effort, and with a quarter of the game to go we're going to make some changes just to try and see out this knockout tie. Joe Gomez replaced by Pedro. He's had an awful game at right back. Lera's not been the best on the left wing. I don't know if we've really got any options there. I've taken the number 10 off the bench and we don't have any other left-sided players. Rene Bazan can come on for now and we'll just play with a bit more of a defensive shape. It does leave us in a bit of trouble if we want to take Jamal Lewis off, but we're not going to worry about that for now. Let's just try and see out the game. Just 10 minutes to go, we're back with Machalov for a goal kick, and he goes short to Yanderson. As it's been a quieter second half, we've had the chance to calm down. We're reflecting on a pretty good night so far, though if Real Madrid get one now, it certainly will be a grandstand finish. Here's Leon Bailey on the right, cutting into Asensio, goes for a shot, another brilliant save by Machalov, who tips it over for a corner kick. Asensio's going to deliver, we'll just see this highlight out and then we'll make our final change as Yanderson heads it out the box to Bailey. Deflects away for a throw in on the right and we're able to defend that well. Jamal Lewis is the man we'd like to take off. I've no idea what we're going to do here. Rene Bazan will go to left back and who comes on the left hand side? I think I've had a little bit of an idea. We're going to bring on Douglas Luiz for now. It looks a bit crazy at the moment but we'll make our tactical changes once it's done. So let's just see out the substitute and then go into our tactics screen. So we've brought on Douglas Luiz. It means Ranzan can go over to the left. Douglas Luiz is going to go into his preferred role as normal. The Segundo Volante on the right side of the central midfielders. Then we're going to change Claudio Gomez to a defensive deep line playmaker and Leonardo's going to go in the middle on his own. I'm not sure if there's any other positions he can do, so we'll just leave him as a deep line playmaker on support. Ranzan's going to go as an inside forward as he's slightly better at that than he is a winger, and Rene Bazan's going to drop to a support duty as we have no need to attack at this stage. We're going to go to a cautious mentality. I think we can drop our tempo down slightly now as well, just to try and make sure we see it out. We'll hold our shape and regroup out of possession, and we're also going to drop our defensive line too. We want to make sure that we don't give any space away. If Real Madrid score 3 long strikes in 10 minutes, then absolutely fair play to them. But as it stands, we're going through at the moment, and things are looking relatively comfortable. Not something we expected after 10 minutes, so we're delighted to be in this position with 5 to go. It's a Real Madrid free kick, Asensio to deliver, into Pavard, and he's managed to score. Awful marking at the back. We left 5 men unmarked, and what sort of defending if that with a few minutes to go? We're going to tell the lads we want to demand more, as they've been really poor on the night, to be honest. Defensively, we've been the worst I've seen us in years, considering we've been a little bit deeper than normal as well. They've had more support and just not dealt with it well, and so many individual errors have cost us. As I say that, we managed to get in behind with Bernard, a brilliant save by the Real Madrid keeper, and with 5 to go, if we could score one here, we know it would certainly be tie over. Ranzan's going to deliver an in-swinging corner, in towards Arzani, but Pavard clears away, and now Claudio Gomez has got it in the middle. He finds Ranzan, back towards Arzani. What a finish that is! We're into the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Daniel Arzani, the big game player as always, not the best rated player at the club anymore, but certainly scored a fantastic goal there, and now Real Madrid needs 7 to get through. A fantastic tie, but surely it's over now, and after a brilliant end-to-end football match, Newcastle have prevailed in the Champions League. Bernard on the right with a deflected cross, and it's back to Claudio Gomez. We can finally relax for the last few, as Arzani goes for another ambitious effort, but this time it's cleared away, and with just 1 minute plus stoppage time to go, it looks like we're cruising through to the quarter-finals. Just 10 seconds of stoppage time to go, and it's Pedro with a throw on the right. He gives it to Florentin Bernard and now Leonardo. A 1-2 with Arzani, wins it back despite the poor pass, and Arzani finds Claudio Gomez, who gives it to the sub Douglas Luiz. We're just keeping possession now. It's really good football, proper experience game management, and although Real Madrid have won it back now, it's surely game over any second. Where's the referee's whistle? We're 20 seconds over. Leon Bailey has a shot from the edge of the box. Another world-class save from Machilov, who's come into this game injured and performed brilliantly despite conceding 4 goals at the back for us. The full-time whistle goes, we win 6-4 on aggregate, a 4-3 defeat on the night, but in truth it was a really decent result and we managed to get through to the quarter-finals for the first time I presume since 2002, where they managed to achieve it in real life. We're going to tell the lads they were excellent. Mikel Antia wants us to do just that, and let's go and see what the media have said about the game, as well as finding out how good our youth intake is this year. There's the confirmation then. We win in the first knockout round. The first leg triumph was crucial. We were really great on the night there, and we did enough away from home despite not being at our best. We saw it in the Europa League a few times in the last 2 years, and again we've done it here, but we got through and that's the most important thing. We'll deal with the press conference off camera. Plenty more money coming into the club, and Arzani again performed on the big stage. A brilliant achievement from him. So we'll be back in a couple of days before this episode ends, as we want to make sure that we see our youth intake, and we've also got the draw for the quarter-finals. Which one of Europe's elite are we going to be playing next? Okay, we're back on a Friday. We've been thrown back into our youth intake message. I know this one's probably not too important in terms of our career, as it's likely we'll be moving on in the summer, but we have got to get excited about it. It is still one of our favourite days of the calendar, and it looks like we've got a bit of an exotic name there. Let's see what position Koch plays in. I can't find him on this list at the top here. I'm sure you're all screaming at me. An attacking midfielder on the right hand side and a striker as well. I presume that's Portugal or Spain he's from, so let's go and have a look at him. He's a 16-year-old Spanish winger, 1-star ability, 4-star potential. He certainly looks a pretty good prospect for the club. Let's go and have a look at the team in full, see if there are any other stars standing out there. He's probably the only one in truth that can make it in the first team, but I have got another player that could make it as a pro. Joe Barber's a young left-back, 15 years of age, 1-star ability, 3-star potential. He's got pretty decent attributes across the board, but needs some work in terms of his personality. An attribute of 2 for determination, so we certainly need to be working on changing that. Koch had a fairly determined personality, plenty of flair as well, so I think he could become an absolute superstar, and we'll try and help him out for as long as we're here. So a decent youth intake for the club, but as we mentioned, not so important for us. What is more important for us this season is the Champions League quarter-final draw here. We'll go and have a look at the teams left. There are no easy games left whatsoever. Schalke are over in Germany, although they did win the league last year. Juventus in Italy, which hasn't been quite as strong a league in game, and then there's just one team left from Spain as well, but in truth they're all going to be difficult games, and it's just luck of the draw to see who we get. So let's draw the teams out one by one. Paris Saint-Germain have come out of the hat first. As long as we could be away from home first, I think that would be a pretty good outcome for us, and by the delay I can tell it's going to be us. We're going to PSG in the quarter-final, hoping to book our place in the semis of the Champions League. A team littered with world-class players. You can see youngsters from real life, the likes of João Felix, who's so well talked about at the moment, and a few other youngsters that our director of football's tried to sign. Marco Beza, the young centre-half, he's an absolutely world-class player. Have they got any experienced ones left in as well? Arthur, who's at Barcelona in real life, Moise Kean from Juventus, plenty of world-class names there, and it's going to be a very tough task to get through. Let's just complete the rest of the draw. I want to see who Manchester City get. They've drawn Schalke at home, so there's certainly still a possibility of a City v Newcastle final again. But there's the quarter-final draw. We'll probably show you something from that next time out. We've got that one coming out in early April, as well as our Premier League running. Depending on how tight the title race gets, we may well show plenty of games from that one. It's a bit of a difficult situation at the moment. We've been so comfortable all year in the league, and the more exciting games have always been in other competitions, but we will probably have at least 3 or 4 episodes before the end of this year, especially if we get through against Leicester as well. So I hope you'll come and join along with me for those ones. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of that performance. A crazy game away at the Bernabeu. And how do you rate our chances in the quarter-finals? Now we know we're going to be facing PSG. And also let me know what you thought of the youth intake. I think Koch has got a pretty good chance of making it. Let me know if you feel the same. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one, The Head Coach, and then a One Club series, part of the Furniture with Torquay United. There's also also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career every Friday at 4:30, and then this week you should see plenty of content on the channel from the new Cricket 19 game. The official game of the Ashes was released last week, and we should have a few videos coming out from that one. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for another big game from Newcastle as we try to win up to 3 more competitions.